Hi all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to Scuba Diving Magazine, your favourite place for the latest scuba diving news and gear reviews. This is Ask Mark, my scuba diving Q&A, where I, Mark, a former scuba diving instructor, do my best to answer your scuba diving questions. If you do have any scuba diving questions, by all means pop them down in the comment section underneath this video. Use this Ask Mark hashtag somewhere in your comments, doesn't really matter where as long as it's in there, and that just highlights it so that I know to answer it as soon as possible. And if it's interesting enough, I'll even turn it into a video, and the general community does a great job of answering questions as well, so thank you everyone if you're doing that. Today I'm answering a question from Sukar about mask fitting. So Sukar777 says, hello Mark and greetings from Egypt. I'm a newbie scuba diver, and when I descend to 12 meters, I felt the mask was like crushing my face, and after the dive there was a red spot above my nose. Although I was using my mask, it wasn't too tight. Any ideas? Thank you, and hope to meet you one day here in Egypt. Yeah, I love Egypt. It's been a long time since I've been back there. So this actually is quite similar to my first, well, not my first, but my first scuba diving course. There were 3 other guys on the course with me who had all bought the exact same mask because it had this like carbon fiber detailing around the frame, not because it fit them, but because it looked kind of cool. I think they had those like red tinted lenses as well, so they just saw that and just went yes, and they all 3 of them bought the exact same mask. That's not how you should buy a mask. It should be done on fit more than style. And after the pool sessions, they all came out with the exact same red triangle just here on their forehead. And what that was the internal frame of the mask just pressing on their forehead. And after enough time, and especially if the mask squeeze sucks it into your face a little bit, it's going to be pressing into your forehead and you'll come up with that little red spot. So I'm imagining that's what the issue was. The first thing to mention is mask squeeze. If you dive down, obviously the pressure around you increases and the airspace inside of that mask starts to shrink because of the pressure, because air is compressible. So all you have to do is just breathe out through your nose. It's one of the main reasons why dive masks has this nose pocket. If you try and dive with just swimming goggles, they will suck into your eye sockets and it will be very painful. So yeah, just breathe out through your nose as you descend. You may have an issue with fogging up, so make sure that you defog your mask beforehand. But yeah, if you're breathing out through your nose, you're equalizing that airspace and the mask squeeze won't be an issue. If it wasn't purely mask squeeze, then it's most likely that you have what I call a twin lens mask. So you have 2 separate lenses and a separate section here, because on the inside of the mask, you have a bit more framework on the inside. This one isn't too bad. I have seen a lot worse, but if you have a more pronounced eyebrow, depending on your face shape, if this is making contact with your forehead, then yeah, you're going to have a sore section just in your brow. If you move over to something more like a single lens mask, of course they don't have that structure on the inside. You've got a little bit more space. It really is just finding a mask that fits you more better. Just because it fits on your face on the surface in the dive center doesn't necessarily mean that in practice, when you're actually in the water, that it's still going to fit. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that when they're trying on masks in the dive center, they'll just get a mask, they'll do the sniff test, it fits, great. They'll go for a dive and it starts leaking. Why? Well, because when you did the sniff test, you didn't have a regulator or a snorkel in your mouth. So it's supposed to actually have either a second stage, if you have one, or just a mouthpiece or a snorkel. Pop that in when you do the sniff test, and then see if it still fits, because it's going to change the shape of your top lip. I digress. It's really is finding a mask that does fit you properly, and it's most likely going to be this section here that you need to pay attention to. So if you do have a particularly pronounced section out here in your mask, chances are that's what's causing it. That combined with any mask squeeze is going to create a kind of a red mark here, and sometimes you can get a like a red ring around your face. You normally don't notice it until you get out after the dive. You take your mask off and everyone goes, "Ha, you got a red ring around your face." Your mask, don't pull it tight. Actually, if you pull masks too tight, it can distort the shape of the skirt itself. Your mask should only sit on your face very, very lightly, and your strap should never be like tight. It should just be tight enough just to hold it in place. The water pressure is naturally going to hold it against your face. You don't want that mask strap too tight. That could be another issue. A lot of divers get a small amount of water in their mask. Their instinct is to just tighten those straps, which kind of makes sense. Yeah, why wouldn't you? If there's water getting in, you need it a bit tighter, but the more you tighten it, the more you're going to change the shape of that seal, and then it's not going to seal as well, and you let more water in. If you have that framework as well, it's just going to push that further into your mask. So maybe loosen off that mask strap a little bit, just so it's holding the mask in place but not really tight. You shouldn't really be pulling against any resistance. It should just be just tight enough to hold the mask from falling off, basically. No tighter than that, and you should be good to go. So yeah, to summarize, 3 potential issues here. One, you're not relieving that squeeze by blowing out through your nose as you descend. It could be the mask itself doesn't fit quite properly and the frame of the mask is pushing in, and also it could be that you're pulling that mask strap a little bit too tight, without you being like here in front of me to physically go, that's the problem. I can't really guarantee it, but those are the 3 most likely causes, and what my educated guess would go towards. If you can think of any other ideas for them, by all means pop them down in the comment section underneath this video. Those are the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head, but if there are any other suggestions, by all means let us know down in the comments below, along with any other comments, questions, queries, corrections. Pop them down in the comments. If you want to ask me a question directly, use that AskMark hashtag. I do my best to answer as many comments and queries as possible, but the AskMark ones usually get a bit of preferential treatment, shall we say, and they might even turn into a video. Otherwise, remember to head over to our website, scubadivemag.com. Check out our magazine. It goes around all around the world in both digital and print media, and we have the Go Diving show coming up here in the UK in the next month or so. So if you need tickets, you can go to godivingshow.com. Otherwise, thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.